Hi everyone, it's Gretchen and I have another week of fun summer themed doodles. This week's theme is at the beach. I hope that this video finds you safe, healthy, and happy. Enjoy and thanks for watching.
The first doodle we will be working on is the surfboard. Make two curved lines and connect the bottoms with a straight line. You also want to make sure that the top forms a point instead of a curve. Then draw a wavy line slightly above the base of your surfboard to show that there's sand behind it. This basic outline is pretty simple, so I'll be showing you some different patterns you can use as an inspiration for creating your own. On the first surfboard, I just put a line going up and down the middle. On this second surfboard, I'm going to make that same line, then make a swirly pattern. Then I'll do an outline around the first swirl to make it look like a wave on the ocean. Then at the top, I'm going to add some more curved lines to echo the top of that wave. This shape is pretty hard to get just right, and what you don't see here is the 10 other times that I tried it and it didn't work. The point is, keep trying. On this next surfboard, I'm just doing a diagonal line that I'll probably color in later. Since I want the stripe to look like it's been painted over top of the middle line, I need to make sure that the middle line doesn't go through my diagonal line. Second, we will be drawing the sandcastle, which I like to think of as a Lego building meets cake. There are 3 layers on a lot of cakes, and there are 3 layers on this castle, but there are also these Lego brick-like tooth things on the top of each layer, which, fun fact, are called merlons. You can see that this castle has a curved base. Most sandcastles are made from buckets, which are cylinders and therefore round on the bottom. We make a curve because the castle is round, just not flat across. Make sure that you have quite a bit of room upward so you don't run into another doodle or off the page. Then draw 2 short lines coming up directly from the edges of your first line. These should be pretty short. Now we'll be making merlons, or the boxes on top. Make a short line straight in that's about 1/5 of the distance between the 2 walls. Then draw a short line straight down from the lines you just drew, add lines going inward again, and then back up. It should be like a box without a top. Connect the vertical lines with a flat horizontal one. That's layer 1. Next, find the middle of the outside 2 merlons or teeth. Draw 2 vertical lines. The taller you make these lines, the taller your castle will look. Again, we need to make the tooth pattern. Straight in, short lines down, lines straight back up to the same level as where we started. Then connect the 2. The next layer is our last and the shortest. Again, find the middle of the outside 2 merlons and draw 2 short lines straight up from there. Make sure that they're short this time. Instead of making teeth, we're going to just draw a straight line straight across. On the top of this last layer, make a triangle-shaped roof using the straight line as the base. You can add a flag at the top if you want. Of course, your sandcastle needs a door, so add an upside-down U to your base. This castle also needs windows, which you can make with an upside-down U and then connecting the bottoms. On the middle level, I put 1 window on each side, and I put 1 window on the center level. Now that we're done with the middle part, we'll move on to the outside towers. Again, the bottoms here are curved. These towers are shorter. They only go up to about midway on the second tier. I'm going to make a mark on my castle at that halfway point, so when I draw my wall up, I know when to stop. Now let's draw the base. Start your line on top of the corner of the first tower, so it looks like one continuous structure. From the open end of your line, draw a straight line up until it's level with the midway point you marked earlier. Don't draw the line to this point, just use it as a way to know when to stop. We're going to make the same tooth pattern we did on the main tower. Then we'll repeat this process on the other side. Draw your base, make your line up even with the halfway point, then go in, down, over, and up. And there you go, there's your sandcastle. If you want, you can add windows on the side as well. I also went back and fixed my bases because they didn't look quite right to me. That's one of the great things about working with pencil. You can always go back and fix something later if you decide that it doesn't look quite right. And there you go. Great job. Next, we'll work on drawing a beach ball. With this beach ball, we're going to focus on shading, a technique that helps your ball go from looking like a 2D circle to an actual 3D object. When light hits an object, it doesn't light every single part of it equally. Look around you. Anything that's 3D has lighter areas and darker areas. Before we get to that, we do need to first draw the 2D version of our beach ball. Draw a circle, and then draw a smaller circle inside your first, but instead of putting it in the middle, put it off to the right a little bit. You can see in my above doodle that the point where all the lines converge, the little black circle, isn't in the exact center. Next, we'll make the lines that tell us where the borders between colors are. Make a V, with the point being the center and the ends reaching to the outer circle. Don't make this too narrow, it'll be wider than the typical V you might make when writing. The next two lines should be able to almost form a straight line if you connected them, but don't actually connect them. For the final two lines, imagine that the V lines that you drew first are extending through the middle circle, and instead of a V, you have an X. When you make the bottom line, curve it upward when you're about 2/3 of the way to the outer circle. Then make the top line. Again, when you get about 2/3 of the way to the outer circle, curve it, but this time curve it downward. Next, we're going to add what I call echo lines to show that the lines that we just drew are a low point on the ball. I call them echo lines because they go very close to the original line, but aren't as long as the lines we first drew. Instead, they hover near them. I put my echo lines on the right side of my original lines. It doesn't matter which side you put them on as long as you are consistent. You should always have a full line in between your echo lines. Now we're going to move on to the hard part, shading. Shading can be really tricky at first. If you've never tried shading, you might just want to watch this next part through once and then go back and follow along. You also might want to try this on another circle before you try it on the beach ball. The best thing to do is to get some sort of round object from around your house to use as a reference, like an apple or an orange or a baseball, softball, tennis ball. But if you don't have these things to look at, that's totally okay. It's perfectly fine. To start, look at your ball. Notice how it is lighter at the top and darker down near where it touches the ground. Objects, any object at all, from you to me to a skyscraper to an ant, hardly ever have even lighting. What determines where darker and lighter parts are is where the light is coming from. If the light were to come from underneath the ball, then the ball would be lighter and the top would be darker. With this beach ball, I'm imagining that the light is coming from the upper right. This would mean that the area of the ball exactly opposite the upper right is the darkest part. So I'll add some dark lines. Noticing how I'm coloring to the shape of the ball, I'm pretty much just making the outside darker and thicker. I continue to move inward, making my pencil marks lighter and lighter as I go to reflect that the area is closer to the light. To make this change in value, take pressure off the tip of the pencil. Don't push into the point as hard. Continue to color in a curved shape. I'm repeating that one more time. The light is coming from the right-hand side of the ball. The side opposite the light will be the darkest, while the part nearest to the light will be the brightest. Applying pressure, I color in the far side of the ball. As I move inward and inward towards the light source, I apply less and less pressure so my pencil marks become lighter and lighter. This one was a hard one, but you guys did great. I'm so glad that you joined me, and I hope to see you back next week. Have a great week, guys.